Hello and welcome to 18WJTS in.form. Thinking of being a volunteer for Crisis Connection? There's an event coming up that you should attend to find out more. Joining me in the studio is Joan, and we always appreciate when Joan comes in. She is the primary prevention coordinator, and we also have with us someone who is a volunteer with Crisis Connection, and that is Lorri Deffendoll. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us again.
Crisis Connection does really great work.
Thank you.
And it's unfortunate that you exist.
Right.
But because of the world as it is now, you do exist to help those in situations of domestic violence.
Correct.
And abuse. But you are needing volunteers all the time. I sometimes think, well, people think, oh, it just runs on its own. No, it takes people behind the scenes to do the work. Not only does it take money, which you can always send money to Crisis Connection.
Absolutely.
But it does take people who do volunteer work. So let's talk about a volunteer info night you have coming up.
Right. So, you know, we've laughed that I'd like nothing better than to shut down the Crisis Connection, that we wouldn't need the Crisis Connection, right? But we do. And so we exist to help people develop healthy relationships, whether it's proactively trying to get up front and giving education, that type of thing, or if you find yourself affected by sexual assault or domestic violence, getting help on having to deal with that. We serve several counties. Du Bois is one of them. So the main office is here in Jasper, Indiana. It's on Meridian Road, kind of close to St. Vincent de Paul. And just to keep the office going, we need help. And then we do events like there's health events where we share information. We're in schools, teaching on child safety, technology safety, that type of thing. Like you said, we have to raise money, so we need help with fundraising. And sometimes people just don't know the talent that they could share. So for example, we redid our website not too long ago, and a man came and helped us do that, and we had somebody else with marketing expertise to redo our logo and that type of thing, and oh, what a blessing. So the information night is just intended to come on out, learn more about what we're about, see the office, get a tour, that type of thing.
Well, and I think stereotypical, I had the idea that a volunteer is just somebody who answers the hotline phone. And that is a different kind of volunteer, but that is a volunteer.
Oh, absolutely.
But you need volunteers like Lorri,
yes.
who are the worker bees that make things happen at Crisis Connection. And Lorri, you went to one of these info nights?
Yes,
is that how you got
I got started.
Why did you go there in the first place?
I have a desire to make sure that the community or people in the community are educated, and I wanted to find out a little bit more about this. I had already had a connection with Crisis Connection by doing volunteer type of things from my workplace for them, as far as making funds and that sort of thing, getting funding for them different ways. So I just wanted to find out a little bit more of how I could help besides just doing that type of a fundraiser. So I went to one of these meetings and I found out what they were about, and there were many opportunities where I could participate that didn't take a lot of my outside time, that I thought I could maybe make a difference.
There is time and talent really pays benefits forward in many different ways. So as a volunteer then, what are some of the things that you do?
I've participated in the Kids Fest, mostly table events, I think. I've went to different activities that the TRICAP has put on for preschool children. And again, it's just to get the education out that the Crisis Connection is available if there's a need. And, you know, and to kind of maybe make a difference in, you know, just by making somebody feel important, I think, going to these events.
There's probably a certain amount of credibility that helps too. If we see Joan Knies at these events, we go, oh yeah, Joan Knies, she's with Crisis Connection, so you just kind of assume you're going to be there. But then when we see somebody like you, who really, your main job is at Kimball, but you're there, then somebody sees you and go, oh, what are you doing here, helping here? It's bigger than just that organization.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's more effective, to be quite honest, when we have volunteers, because they're there with the passion. And some people will say, well, Joanne, you just do it because your job. I don't. I feel like I have a lot of passion, as everybody at the Crisis Connection, but certainly it is different being an employee as opposed to being when you have that passion as a volunteer. So like we have several, I'm going to mention their names, they said it was fine, like Sherry Kryline comes in regularly and helps us in the office, answering the door, answering the phone calls, because our advocates could be on the phone with a client and then you get another phone call, well, you want to give them immediate attention and we don't want to put them on hold. So answering the door, people bringing donations, whatever, that type of thing. Susan McGovern has volunteered for years, helps us clean our warehouse, helps us put folders together for programs like Batter's Intervention Program and Choices and different programs that we have. Sandy Wiggin the same way. I remember she even brought her granddaughter in last year, and they helped assemble some things for natural helpers. Cindy Stewart helped us with an Excel database, and she comes in a lot and just helps us with some of the marketing and that type of thing. So yeah, we're just really blessed. Donna Stemley recently went through the training, and she's helping us. We have a teacher at Emily Knies at Emily Hauser. I still call her by her name. Sorry, Emily. She's at Forest Park, and she had her kids paint rocks for us at the school and coordinated all that for us. So you just never know what kind of help we need.
I guess, everybody's got a little bit of time. We understand time. I can give an hour, I can give 2 hours. But it's the talent maybe we don't realize we have. Obviously, I don't have a whole lot of talent, but I can put papers in a folder. I can help cut out something that needs to be cut out. So it could be something really like that. Or I guess you also need volunteers who are trained to be hotline answerers. I don't think I could ever do that, but somebody can answer the phones.
Absolutely. And we would never, just so people understand, we would never put you on a hotline alone. So the staff member is always there, or the victim advocate would always be there as a backup. But sometimes, let's see, the hotline is open 24/7, 365. People will call the hotline for random things that sometimes have nothing to do necessarily with domestic violence and sexual assault, just needing information or that type of thing. So sometimes volunteers can handle that very easily. But if it gets more complicated, it would be a direct connect to the staff member immediately. But we would never put somebody in a situation that makes them uncomfortable.
And then, Lorri, how much time are we talking about? You're a volunteer. Do you determine the time that you can give? Or is it that they say, like, hey, we need you 10 hours a week?
No, I make that determination. They tell me what activities are available and then ask if I would like to volunteer for any of them, and then I look at my schedule, and then accordingly I can plan by that.
Okay. And then the idea behind this volunteer information night for Crisis Connection is to sit down and discuss with people how much you need, how little you need, how much time, how little time, what sort of talent you're looking for. Or they could come up and say, look, I'm really good. I don't want anybody to see me. I want to sit in an office, but I'm really good at an Excel spreadsheet.
Absolutely. So yeah, you can be in front of the scenes, you can be behind the scenes, wherever you're practicing. Some people want to volunteer because they want to gain a new skill, and other people want to volunteer because they want to use the skill they have. Other people want to meet volunteers like Lorri to have that collaboration. Some people want to give back. So there's a number of different reasons that people volunteer. So yeah, we have people like our board who put in a lot of hours with us, and then we have other people that, as their schedule works out, and it all matters. It all makes a difference.
And the night is when, where?
The night will be June 13th, and it will be at the office in Jasper, which is on Meridian Road. So past Kmart and then past St. Vincent de Paul, past the food bank, and it's there. And it's from 6 to 7:30. And even if you can't make that entire time, come on by. And if you can't make that night, I had someone just yesterday I met with, because she couldn't come that night but was very interested. So she just swung by the office and we met yesterday. So that's not a problem either.
Is it okay if they come to this volunteer night and not really have a decision, but come to another one? Do you do this often? Do you have this info night?
Yes, we at least have it twice a year, at least twice a year. But yes, they can just come, and we're not going to, you have to volunteer. If they just want to learn more about Crisis Connection, it's a win-win because they've learned more. But then we really don't pressure anybody. They make that decision, I don't think I'm being misrepresented.
No, that's absolutely right.
Yeah,
I can recall people that were at the meeting who, I've not seen since, but they came to find out about it, and that's what was important.
So then that's the idea behind this. It's a no obligation, just kind of find out sort of meeting.
And then we've had other people that became really diehard volunteers. One of the things I know we need volunteers for is we have a program called Natural Helpers, and we do several retreats during the course of the year for different schools. And so if you're a former natural helper, that would be great if you would come back and help us set up and that type of thing, or if you just want to come and help chaperone. A couple of them are overnight retreats, a couple of them are day-long retreats, but even like promoting that and supporting the kids that are natural helpers would be a huge benefit.
Do you need men? Do you need women?
Oh.
I mean, I would think this is mostly a women thing. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I'm sure that this is, because generally it's women who are battered, who most of your clients, unfortunately, is probably the case. Although I know men, that can happen as well.
Right.
But is this
Bill, I'm laughing, and really, it's not. Because we like to have fun.
You can slap me. You can.
No. Yeah, we work at the Crisis Connection. I'm not going to slap you.
Tap me on the head.
No, I need everybody, and to be quite honest, we need more men volunteers because if you think about how we're going to end domestic violence and sexual assault, we really do need men to step up and be mentors and be volunteers and take issue with it. Because most of my life it's a women's issue, so women have to stop it, and that's not really true. We need everybody to help stop it, and I think we have like a program called Coaching Boys into Men. So the more male volunteers we get, and the more input on just having this discussion, where are you at and why isn't this ending and what can we do? Just to have their input, like an advisory committee, would be great. So no, we need, and all ages, high school kids volunteer for us. I think it's called the Youth Advisory Committee to make sure we have the youth voice. So yeah, we need men too. We really do.
Well, I think the whole thing is a struggle of getting awareness. The phrase I almost used, we use in jest sometimes with each other, but slapping or whatever. But we need to stop that, and that's kind of the point of the whole discussion.
Yeah, we say things that we don't even realize. I found it interesting, the awful school shootings recently, and I heard somebody interviewed a little boy, and he said, "Yeah, we were told to man up." And just even that, I thought, was interesting commentary about how we say things and with relationships and don't even think about it. You needed to be strong, perhaps, or you needed certain attributes to get through that. But even the fact that we say things sometimes that we don't even realize what we're saying. So
that's what the discussions with you always lead to that. Makes you stop and think, I don't realize we use phrases like that. We talk like that. We say things like "man up."
Right.
Okay.
And it's not about being politically correct. That's not the issue. It's to really think about what's causing those issues and how can we stop, and so that Crisis Connection can shut down.
Let's see if we can't put you in the business. Well, that would have to go. Let's talk about these rocks that you have. What is you?
Yeah, earlier I wondered when we said, okay, we're going to paint rocks. People probably wondered what that was. But one of the events Lorri helped us out was the Kids Festival that was put on with DCS and SWICAC. And there's a craze across the country, I don't know, it might be worldwide for as far as I know, where people can paint rocks, and some of them are just gorgeous. People are literally artists and can paint. So we thought, well, people could paint the rock, or people could decorate the rocks, because at the table it would be hard with the paint. So like I said, the Forest Park kids did it. Jasper High School football team's going to come and help us paint the rocks, and then the kids decorate them with stickers or whatever. And then we partnered with Jasper's Backyard and did that a couple of weeks ago when they had their outdoor movie, and 150 rocks were displayed. So then if you find a rock out there in the world, there's different groups. Ours say Crisis Connection Rocks, so then you can put a hashtag on there if you want to post it on Facebook. You don't have to, but you can put it on Facebook. And then there's a couple of, every community has one. In Jasper, there's a Jasper Rocks, there's a Du Bois County Painted Pebbles, there's a Spencer County, Indiana Rocks, Tell City Rocks, so it's kind of fun to see them. But it goes even beyond that. We're learning more and more about the 40 developmental assets. I think we've talked about that before, and dealing with trauma. So anytime an adult and a child can do something together and create that compassion, can create that relationship, would be great. So that in and of itself, and it is amazing finding a silly rock, with a little silly face on it or whatever, makes you smile,
Right.
So just making a difference, so simple in somebody's life. So.
And this is good too, because they find the Crisis Connection rock, flip it over, and there's information.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But it was fun. Some of the kids that came up to you, I know you were helping them put their little stickers and things on there, so it's fun.
We took some home that day. I think I got some, someplace in my landscaping up front, there is a rock for my grandson that he painted.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we do ask people, if you find the rock, to be very cognizant, seriously, of that, where they place it. We don't want them to put in people's yards or in state parks, and we don't want people taking people's rock, like stealing from their landscaping. Come to us, we'll give you the rocks. Or there's several places you can buy them or get them at a low price from some vendors or that type of thing. But
again, it's another way to get awareness out about events.
Yes, exactly.
All right, well, now, June 13th?
June 13th.
At Crisis Connection.
6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay, is there information on your website?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know it's on our Facebook page.
Okay.
And it's probably on Twitter and LinkedIn and that type of thing. So.
Or they can call.
Absolutely.
If somebody calls Crisis Connection, do they call the hotline or do they call?
It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
During the daytime, they're welcome to call any of our offices, that number being 812-482-1555.
Okay.
But the hotline is 1-800-245-4580. And during office hours, that would be forwarded to an office as well. So either one is fine.
All right, well, ladies, thank you very much for coming
Thank
in.
you, Bill.
All right, and
you.
keep volunteering. Thank you for the
Yes,
work,
thank
the
you so
time and
much.
talent that you donate. Thank you very
I
much.
enjoy it. Thank
We
you.
have had as our guest Joanne Knies. She is the primary prevention coordinator for Crisis Connection and a volunteer who can be like you, and that is Lorri Deffendoll. Thank you very much, Lorri and Joanne. Thanks for being
you.
here. Thank you for watching WJTS. We're local people watching local people.